leave you with a Dracos quote that he's left for me about Chovy. All of these people have come for the Church of Chovy. So many people have faith in the god of mid lane. But does this god believe in himself? Yes is the answer. My name's Derek. I'm by Chronicle.
I'm 14 and this is profound. Welcome to the desk for game number 4. As we're all ready to draft, and yes, the Tristana is gone. Cream is 8-0 over the course of this year on that pick, and he will not find 9-0 in this game.
Well, that's good. I think a must ban away after how last game went. Kalista, B1 for Gen G to open up, and top esports. I mean, Cream does play it. It would just be so funny when we've seen priority from Chovy in the series so far, as this has been a favorite of his historically too.
Important to note that I do think a large part of why the game stalled out was Chovy. That said, Cream on Corki did not necessarily convince me in the earlier games that we saw of him. It does deny a big pick, as please, TES, do not lane swap again.
I know.
Don't do it. Find a 2v2. Gen G lane swap, 100% on board. But not you guys.
Yeah, it feels like we kind of know what the winning formula here is for top esports, right? Find the 2v2, get Tien onto something that's a bit more tank orientated and can have that early stage impact. By going across towards Canyon though, definitely a bit of a worry. He had a great performance on it in game number 1 of the series, and it really did feel like Tien, when he brought it to Viego, didn't have a great answer to it. So curious to see what Tien wants to go back towards here. Will it be the Maokai, take 2, or will there be something else that he's got up his sleeve?
The Cassante taken away. This is something, again, we talked about a little bit early on, but for Keen, it would change what the top side aspect looks like with him having a lot of priority counter picks so far in the draft.
Because they're on blue side, instead going to prioritize getting the strongest picks possible. In this case, that definitely is going to be the Cassante. I wonder with this Lee pickup, if it is going to be the Lee, because I don't mind it as much. Corki Viego, I think definitely the right call to swap away from that. Instead, just going for something tried and true. You will be able, hopefully, to pick a melee top laner as well. Mako has also looked great on the engage report, so that is what we're going to be, I imagine, finding as Nautilus and or Renata bans, depending on, I think, if top esports here ban Renata, then the Nautilus ban has to come through.
Exactly. I think that's more than likely what we're going to get to see here, but I am curious what the answer is going to be for 369 in that top lane, because we've already seen every single game Keen has had the better side of that equation, whether it be because of a lane swap or just the considerable amount of counter picks that Keen has managed to get. Rumble still could be an option if he really wants to go towards it. Xante Renekton also there if he wants, but I wouldn't be fully surprised to see the adaptation from Gen G to start banning away some of the TFs and the likes that can do well into this Cassante.
Wonder how much question or how much emphasis we put on things like the Camille as well with Renekton down too. That's been popping up in the tournament here or there. 369, a bit of an innovator, and I don't think there's a champion that really sits away from him historically either. Yeah,
that's the thing. It's really weird to see 369 when you think of him now versus where he was on Top Esports 2020, because back then it was... There was no tank in sight. It was Jace's, it was Camille's, it was I am going to absolutely manhandle you in lane, and then that's how I win.
The classic LPL top laner.
Exactly, And now he's a different breed. He's moved over towards a very different style where he is the tank player. He is providing great frontline and engage for the team fights, but will it be a glimpse of the old Top Esports 369 that we get here?
I do really like this Ahri ban. I imagine Chovy's just going to go back to Azir, with which he'll be perfectly happy. But that Vi, Ahri, 2v2 in the mid jungle in particular, I don't think you can give that much power over to Canyon and Chovy. Even though last game did go very, very well, Canyon this time not going to be on Jarvan. His career Jarvan win rate is not great, unfortunately for him, as it is going to be the Urgot to come through. Keen also loves this pick. Matchup we've seen more and more. I do hope that is not an indication that top are looking the lane swap, but if they do find themselves in the situation, Urgot also can handle himself.
I feel like, though, Gen G get an easy Azir here, right? That feels like the play where you just try and set that up for Chovy. Look great on it. You've already got really good engage the Alistair, and the ability to just kick back a lot of top esports as they look for any sort of follow-up in the Sejuani feels like the go-to. Nautilus is still up and available, which is why I think the Alistair, a bit of a preemptive takeaway here, saying, look, Mako, we know you're probably going to take the Nautilus, but we'll still get that good side of the matchup.
Let's find out what Chovy ends up on, though, because we talked about the Azir being a mainstay. Yeah, I love Chronicle. It's like, I know.
It's Gen G. It's Azir.
Yeah, the audience might get excited, but you're at the core of it, aren't you? We question the support, though.
This would be sick.
against Alistar in game number 1, it wasn't the Ashe, but in the bot side, it's not going to be engaged, it's going to be pick potential, isn't it? Mako's thinking about this, having lane dominance. I mean, the Poppy as well has flared around.
Super good here as well. Very different style of lane, though.
Ends up with the Ashe.
This is something that we have seen from Top Esports before. They played in finals against BLG. It was their one win that they managed to get, one of the wins that they managed to get against BLG in the finals. And it was definitely being able to get control of that bottom side and really abuse the 2v2. And I'm curious now if we get a very similar story here where they just try to play heavily through this very potent duo lane where you got a lot of kill threat, especially against Alistar that provides very little on the first few levels.
We don't have the analyst desk on our mics right now, but I can only imagine Emily is yelling about Gen G, lane swap, lane swap, lane swap. Because Pace, I think in particular, has been struggling. The 2v2 in general has not been great for Gen G. And you're playing into one of the most aggressive bot lanes that you can possibly face, not just because of the players, Jekyll and Mako, but also because of the fact that Ashe, her level 1, one of the best in the game. Alistar, notorious for just kind of being a cow, standing there and feeling bad. So on Gen G, gonna try and I imagine look for that situation. We'll see if they can close it out 3-1 or if we're gonna go to yet another silver scrapes here, gentlemen.
I'm not sure how much the audience believes in the faith of Gen G. That person in the back of the camera was just asleep. They said, wake me up when game 5 hits. It's a hope, it's a dream, it's something that top esports fans desperately want, but fans of this MSI who have been delivered a treat throughout the past couple of days. It started with BLG PSG. It continued with T1G2. Oh, hell yeah, it did. And here, this series has been a delight for us as well, even though he's no longer on Gen G. I had to throw it in there. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Game 4. The top esports fans have awoken. When they entered the stage, they rose.
Get the invade coming through for Top Esports on this top side of the map. Really want to try and spot out what is going on. Is there the potential for a lane swap? They don't really spot out where Paze is or where the Cassante is, so this is going to be a blind swap if they see it, but looks like Jackie Love actually going to go for the reset, so maybe it is going to be the Draven and the Ashe moving down into this bot side as Gen G will get the lane swap off.
Ward just placed down as per usual. We didn't see common lane swap wards apart from the ones up in top side. For Top Esports, they'll be walking over one shortly if they continue forward.
Want to cast your mind back as well to how specifically T1 used the Ashe level 1 to really put so much pressure on the Halo Blades, as well as the volley slow, insanely impressive as they don't spot the ward, they are spotted, they don't know.
So the movement begins, TN just starts on the Raptor camp, and bot side will be as expected, so Jacula and Mako don't get standard lanes, which we talked about them desperately desiring.
The Air will spot out Cassante though, so Top Esports well aware that they have been spotted and that they know that Top Esports are in this bottom side jungle. So at the moment, Gen G going to be able to just play for the split map, which is perfectly fine for them. But with the double AD carry and Jackie Love and Mako, they're going to be working very quickly through these bot side towers. And once again, similar to game 1, more than likely going to open up a lead for themselves when it comes to the 2v2 pushback.
Well, let's just add the benefit in that at least Jackie Love and Mako this time around are on the bot side, so the turret's going to be squishier. There's no 50% extra resistance here as 369 and TM will have to see who adds in the demolish, if it's only a single or a double here, to get that push ahead.
Top Esports, though, they really want to try and get themselves to that game number 5. It always feels like when you look at Top Esports, especially for players like Jackie Love, where they always just fall that little bit short. We look back to Worlds 2022 where it didn't quite work out with them, them falling out in the round robin against GAME.
Sure.
Then you're looking here against Gen G. Now obviously Gen G a very different opponent, a very tough opponent, and there is still a second chance, but for Top Esports, just trying to prove themselves on an international stage, show that they can go toe-to-toe with the best, is a big victory for that organization.
Also going to look what type of lane swap we're going to be seeing here, and this is one of the big benefits of the Urgot as well. Able to do so much damage with the W is 369, so Gen G going to definitely be behind in blades, but We've seen longer lanes. G2 showed it yesterday as well, where you just keep swapping and swapping, so you're always behind, always catching the wave, never the one with the tempo advantage. But you can also choose, which looks like what Gen G is doing here, hit level 3 and then back off. You got through the first couple of levels, which are insanely rough, into the Ashe specifically, and you may try and contest in the 2v2, but 369, he ain't leaving yet.
The downside of this, though, is that you kind of have to drop some of these waves to make this 2v2 happen, right? Yes, you'll get the reset off, you get the long swords, but if you want to try and make it happen, you either have to drop this wave and try and match in the 2v2 on top, because JackeyLove, now having 3 of those plates gone, is going to have a 200 gold lead for himself. He gets to go back to base and then come out, and it looks like we will see the even footing on the bottom side, but the slight experience lead for JackeyLove, as you can see, because the majority of that wave was just lost to the tower for Gen G.
King's still level 1. Wave in a bit of an awkward position. Also, Cream taking a rough trade, given that he has already teleported. Also, Chovy, this time around going for maximum lane pressure, going for the Halo Blade, so not going to go for the tank build. This time, he has a front line. Keen on the Cassante, which has been discussed to great lengths this tournament. These top esports that in the early phase of this lane swap is going to come out ahead.
Remember as well, in the start of the lane swap of Game 1, it was 369 on not the reverse matchup, but of course on the Cassante as well. Gen G made sure that that guy wasn't going anywhere, wasn't getting anywhere, was far and far behind. Keen this time has been able to absorb some experience. Yes, it's still down in CS, but at least he's in the lane. So we get to see a very different Cassante as Cream gets bullied out by Chovy on the return of this TP.
Yeah, it only just come back into lane, so not the best of times here for Cream, but also on the bottom side, you see the Vi is here on the bottom half of the map, so TN going to try and match on this bottom side to make sure JackeyLove and Mako can play aggressive through the 2v2. We already saw JackeyLove great with the stand-asides when it comes to interrupting Lahens, but if there's a Vi in the bush as well, you need, the Alistair, but if there's a Vi in the bush as well, you got to be so careful, but here comes the 3v3.
In with the ward, the timing perfect, the 3v3, he's going to erupt with Canyon moving in. It's the Arctic Assault, the flash away from Pace, so Summoner advantage here is the Callista, now out with 1.
Crucially there, health bar for Lahens already way too low, and this wave stayed kind of a disaster with TN in the area. They're not going to be able to fix it anytime soon. JackeyLove and Mako the opportunity to build a bigger lead in that 2v2 as Chovy trying to test Cream his nerves.
Especially with Canyon here as well. Vault Breaker just out of range, and it's simply an auto. So Valkyrie out and Cream is just fine, despite Chovy getting in his head.
Chovy still, though, hasn't really got camps up and available right now with the way everything is panned out, so kind of sitting here waiting to try and find a home. Void Grubs are going to be up, but Tien also passing up towards that top side with more camps available, so this is kind of the other byproduct of the lane swap, is that Tien will get access to a lot more of these camps there to come through on the side, but Canyon going to get first access to these Grubs with the push in mid lane helping out massively.
Mako did spot him with the hawk shot, so did you know that this is going on? But with the bot lane prio, and with mid lane the way that it is, I think the right call here from top esports to instead just go as Chovy looking to be a bit of a nuisance here.
Yes. Doing Chovy things again. As you mentioned, Chronicler the back away, or rather forcing it back against Cream. And lane and phase going well. The trade happens topside for a perfect 3 for Canyon, while that Dragon is about to just get destroyed as well.
Still, though, JackeyLove and Mako getting access to bot lane turret again on this push, going to start to chip away at some more of these plates. And if side lane towers start to go down, that's really where it's going to become tough for Gen G. They are a composition right now that wants to look for team fights, play for these objective fights. And this has not been what we've seen from Gen G over the course of this series so far. It's much more about getting access to the lanes and playing through, keen on something that's a bit more carry orientated, but now mid lane in trouble.
Yeah, Chovy should just be able to shifting sands out. It's just Mako again utilizing Halo Blades.
We do see Chovy not too threatened there. Lan's also making his way back towards the bot side of the map. In the last game, what happened was Gen G tried to force on Jackie as soon as Canyon hit 6. Neither time it really works out, and that's what they're going to be looking to do here as well. Jackie currently sitting on about 150 stacks. A little bit more as, again, Canyon just keeps getting spotted by this hawk shot.
And he keeps opting in towards this split map, which is honestly just benefiting top esports. It's not really, well, I say he's opting into. He's kind of been forced into this split map because you constantly have Mako playing with Tien and invading onto his bot side. But that kind of just plays into hands because 369 going to be fine to farm himself. You won't really look for the dive as 369 can pretty handily clear out these waves, and it's going to be Pays who falls further and further behind because he can't get access to wave, and as always at the potential being dove underneath his own tower.
Have to see if it happens in return for 369. Pausing because I'm seeing this wave building up, pushing. He's got no mana as well. But in the end, Canyon just backs off as JackeyLove gets pushed down pot side as well. The early game has been quite stagnant, but again, some mental mind games being played.
Big thing here is that in the last game, Gen.G did really heavily opt into contesting. I think much more so than we saw of them in the 2 games before that.
Yep.
And obviously, Top Esports absolutely loved it. Aggressive skirmishes continuously worked out really, really well for them. And I imagine that Coach Kim and the gang came in and said, guys, slow it down.
Yep.
We don't need to win the early game. We don't need to stomp them in the first 10, 15, 20 minutes. Plenty of faith, and particularly with a classic front to back like they have here, with Keen on his Cassante, which was, in my opinion, the main thing that got him his finals MVP.
Good, yeah.
Absolutely incredible at the champion as Canyon. We've seen this one before, but Jackie, very, very safe as he should be.
Ikaboo, Tien is behind your lines as Canyon goes on in cease and desist. Base call, ulti early from Tien, but the arrow is not. Wow, Mako, he helps save the play. He stops Lahens and drags Lahens. He fails the flash pulverize. Jackie runs under turret, and Lahens has nowhere to go. Safe for the free. Cash in, you silly cow. Canyon now stuck behind the lines as well, and they're just laughing on them. When have you said that Gen.G make a mistake?
It's deja vu. I've been in this game before. Gen.G trying to make the play on a JackeyLove, but the CC isn't quite there. He flashes away. They turn it around, and Top Esports are now looking at Chovy in the mid lane.
I haven't finished my sentence, or Gen.G say, nope, don't care, gotta kill Jackie.
We must play.
And again, the play fails. Again, they find themselves in a deficit, but last time, 369 wasn't in the game. That's not the case this time around. Substantial gold lead now across the board for TES. And it's Gen.G really getting overconfident there, because I think from Jackie's positioning, you could see that he knew it was coming, and then Mako with the long-range arrow on Lahens.
Yeah, it's gorgeous to watch. Tien as well, even giving up woes. Top Esports were well aware that something was about to go down here, and they turn on towards JackeyLove. But watch, the fact that you don't get the follow-up CC on towards JackeyLove is heartbreaking. Plus, with Lahens tanking the Sejuani ult first, can't actually go for the combo to Jackie initially, then misses the combo afterwards, and Jackie just catches his axe to get the speed up to follow up, and then Canyon, way too far forward, will just end up going down to Preem.
3 for 0, cash in for the Draven, and additionally, a kill for Cream as well as Keen.
Will he die? He's got Ghost, but TES have faith. They've got the early game. They've got Tien rolling through. Keen against the wall, arrowed up, and fear beyond death. TES can taste it. This is going perfectly.
Massive play on the top side. Now, Gen.G will still get a good response here. They will trade a turret for what I imagine will be the turret on the top side. So some gold into the hands of FaZe, but actually won't even get the turret. So honestly, kind of nice for Gen.G.
Nicely done there by Canyon. Actually catches the axis. Jackie tried to clear the wave so that they wouldn't be able to, but Canyon stands in front. Still, for Gen.G, feels like they keep opting into more and more of these really, really aggressive plays, and Top Esports have learned throughout this series to deal with them more and more. Last game, or last time when we had a similar game state, where we did have the swap, 369, not there now, has a kill, sitting on the Urgot, and he's going to be an absolute menace in the side.
Especially as we start to look towards the Void groups that were just taken for Top Esports, immediately go mid, push it into Dragon. Top Esports are in a really good spot now to use the advantages that they picked up. Essence Reaver already there for Draven. The package for Cream, and not quite having the first item there for 369. He's going to hold out, but Gen.G can't really respond on Dragon. May look for some vision in topside jungle instead, and 369 is even respecting the potential dive that Gen.G might go for.
An early game has really defined this series. Game 1 and Game 2, Gen.G controlled early game, and even part of the aggression that came through successfully shut TES down. This game, and now the last. Chovy, as he gets altered through, will have to flash away. The arrow flies as well after they pick up the neutral objective, but it's a two-pronged play. Flashing under turret to 369 and tries to outplay, but onto Canyon, fear beyond death. Ain't gonna follow through. He gets out, if only in the nick of time, as Gen G's response is clear.
Gen G just barely get the kill. Top Esports not able to get the return on the Chovy. The Merc Threads value sky high on the early pickup for Chovy, but now underneath the mid tower, they'll take a few love taps, I imagine. Cream, although Cream not as accurate as Chovy's been on the Corki so far.
Big thing here is that they still get the turret towards the bot side. Some plates, though, just before the drop-off will be going over to Gen G.
Yep.
FaZe Online's going to be able to pick those up, and that is going to mean that the gold lead stays relatively even. Kill helps a lot with Dell, a lot with that as well. As Chovy is finding Tian here, but I don't think he's going to pick up much more than that. And that is going to be 2 turrets here for Gen G, but Cavalry's coming.
Are they going to pull the trigger because Mako's spamming pigs? We're looking at Chovy through mid lane as well, though, for the time being, while the plate's in excess. Find their mark 15 seconds before expiring. Cream is backing here, but Canyon just goes right past him. It's on to Tian instead, but Cream is just Gatling gun away. We talked about this cult of Cream. It's back again as Mako even got a kill in top side.
5 seconds on towards the whirling death. Jackie Love is trying to eye up Chovy on mid lane, but they're going to get him. He gets him!
Jackie catches in off screen. The audience only just realized, like, wait a minute, Jackie got more.
Gen G's collapsing.
It is absurd. Top Esports. It looked like the series was completely over. We were ready to give it over to Gen G, and suddenly Top Esports, they find their success around Jackie Love, around Cream, and now 7-1 in kills and near 4,000 gold lead. Gen G, you called it, Chronicler, they are crumbling.
One of the big things about adding Canyon, the expectation was that he would be able to provide so much more stability to the roster. As we take a look here, Lahens able to
arrow?
Make it out.
No way.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh. So that one hits. Canyon walks into 2 people, and Chovy didn't have health, so obviously can't do anything. So Canyon just dies, and then Jackie gets the second cash in of the game.
Man, they're styling on them with the globals. That's 2 for 2 that they've absolutely whacked Gen G as they're trying to safely reset. And now Top Esports getting control over this mid wave, going to get control over the bottom side of the map as well. And with a Hex Tech Soul on the cards for Top Esports, they're going to be able to play off of a 2-arm spike immediately into that 3rd dragon potential. However, mid lane will be the core to call here first.
Oh my god, yeah, Cream's damage. The arrow connects as well. Pays as the cleanse away. Lahen's now isolated, though his unbreakable will seems to be breaking shortly as he gets out with his flash. Pays as the cleanse as well. Gen G are falling apart. The whirling death hits, but there's not enough stacks from Jackie Love as TES look to open mid with Herald speeding up the game.
Yeah, that's rich people problems for Jackie there. He has already cashed in his previous stacks, so he doesn't have enough. And the team fighting that Gen G is so known for is nowhere to be seen.
No team fighting. There is only Zul. Chovy, what's happening? He ults early, but Jackie Love gets pulled in regardless. Never mind as the TP follows through for Gen G. Now the first remnants of the fight, but into the front line. Tien takes no damage to fear beyond death. Flies in. Lahens wasn't even there.
I'd still take it for Gen G. Getting the kill on Jackie Love is big, but he didn't use his summoners. Only Cream did. Chovy goes in, finds the Draven, so that's one big shutdown, but that is not enough. That alone to turn this game. Still a 4K gold lead here for Top Esports.
And it's a good call from Jackie not to invest the summoner spells. 50 seconds until that 3rd dragon is up. That's the focus here for Top Esports. It will give Gen G an opportunity to clear out mid-wave, get it into a more neutral position. They got pushed out, but Top Esports, with these Hextech gates, will get back out of the map, should be able to contest Gen G for control over the river area.
Jackie Love also had no stacks as well, Chronicle. You talked about it before the fighters. Lahens walking into peak in vision. Mako does a little bit of damage himself as the Umbral Glaive on this Ashe starts poking out. Now, 30 seconds till Dragon Gens, even less. TS had the major gold lead running into their soul point.
No cleanse on Pays is huge. If he gets hit by Tienos, gets hit by Makeold, he can be the prime target for Top Esports to turn and burn. Keen was put out, that Cream is reset, but you know that's for a package and a TP back in.
Cream gonna be able to make his way back. Gen G, it feels like a lose-lose situation. You kind of have to contest this, but they know, of all teams, how dangerous it is to find a Corki. Just now finished his maul. Package ready as well. And Gen G, it looks like they're saying, no, we're not going to do it. There is no way that we can win this fight. They probably made the right call, but it's going to feel rough nonetheless.
Canyon may be thinking about a steal, at very least flash available. They've got a ward down. Stopping Soul Point would be huge for the game. Canyon! No, he's so close, has to flash out in the end, but the arrow will follow suit. Canyon caught on the back end, the Whirling Death this time. Close again. He gets out, absorbs some ultis, but Soul Point, crucially, still belongs to TES.
And you're not really going to get anything as Gen G. They get that push on the top side, but 369 had already gone up there to catch that wave. There we go, though,
maybe
Keen.
the TP is going to claim something for Gen G, but Keen goes squishy. Crane's happy to absorb it. There's no help yet. Jovi came in to give him a hand, but he's already dead. Waiting in brush now, Valkyrie over the top. Jovi matches, but Mako's there to catch him. A great ulti, but Jovi doesn't have anyone else. He gets a shutdown, but with permafrost and Jackie on the horizon, Tien tries to give it to him, and Jackie Love heals to get in range.
It's falling apart for Gen G. They're trying everything they can to get picks, to find any way back into this game, but the Hex Drinker Kiwi Cream topped up for that little bit too long means that Chovy overextends to get the pick after Keen has gone down, and Top Esports just get more.
Keen just doesn't have his items yet. Not sitting on two, so the Corki just stretched through him in a matter of seconds. Gen G just desperately looking for something, someone on the map.
Any Game 5 enjoyers? Well, you came to the right place. Arrow flying through. TES try to set it up. That was on the Canyon with Jackie Love standing right in front of him. That won't land, but remember, if another pick comes through, it's 35 seconds till the Baron that TES can start leveraging.
Man, what has happened to this week?
I know.
We started off with 3-0s across the board, and then we're like, you know what, actually, let's just go potentially 3 out of our 4 series over the last 2 days going to this 5-game point. And with Top Esports now grouping on mass in this bot side, they want to push on towards that potential, with just getting so much control against Gen G on the map.
Big thing now for Gen G, as we take a look at his play, it's straight up. Cream's a level up, Sejuani's there, and because he goes all out immediately, he has 0 resistances. So just ends up going down immediately. Chovy tries to salvage the play. He invested his teleport, so he has to. Knight's Vow is on Cream as well, so he takes even less damage than Chovy. Yeah, nice sidestep on the ult from Tien, but it doesn't matter whatsoever. And here,
look alive. We fighting once again. Remember, Baron is now spawned. No Dragon up to 2.5 minutes. We came live because Mako is just always on the verge of sending out this arrow. 8 out of 10 kill participation. The Ash has been insane. This is why we made such a big deal of this guy coming to Top Esports, because Jackie Love finally has a proper support, and Mako back on the international stage after being in the LPL for 8+ years.
Top Esports know that Chovy has no TP. So immediately they send themselves over into the Baron area to just say, look, you're going to have to bring Chovy up. You're going to have to try and force us out of this area, or we're going to control it. 369 has the teleport to come into this.
Cream's poke has to be big, but in a choke. Lehens gets baited in. Tien absorbs the pressure. The jungler being down would be huge as TP now coming in from TES. They look for the fighters. Chovy's caught on out. Church is moving away from Session as Tien helps 369 get on in. Chovy though does nothing. He flashes, he finds it. Goodbye, religion, and hello, Game 5.
that is going to be the Baron going over to TES. Gen G try to get the teleport. Well, they got it, but I don't think they're going to be feeling great about the trade.
Where is your faith when Top Esports went 2-0 down? The stadium was quiet, but when Top Esports coming alive and potentially pushed to a Game 5, Chengdu is coming alive here. Gen G desperately want to get access to this Baron, but Top Esports are slowly closing the door.
This is going to lead directly into the Hex Stack Soul as well. If you think the game is hard to play now, imagine what if Volley, as well as any single Corki Rocket, is going to slow you substantially. Cream doesn't get caught by Lehens there. The teleport comes out, but crucially, Mako on point again, or rather Tien on point again, finds the ultimate onto the one member that doesn't have an easy way out. The chase, impeccable. Top Esports about to bring us to a game number 5.
And Tien, when he's struggled so much, he's talked about his confidence. He's talked about needing to find these moments to lift him up in a game and in a series. 2-0 down, was not where I thought TN would find that confidence, find that resurgence in his play, but 369
everyone's behind it. Gen.G are walking into a lane now with double TP, but the whole of top esports are moving into position. 369 is a tank. They converge on this big bad crab, but has he bought enough time? No, he hasn't. Pays with a pick. Gen.G are not out of it.
Dragon.
It's in 5 seconds. They've got range for TES, but as Dragon spawns for Soul, will Gen.G just take this? Or do top esports want to fight him out of it?
Canyon held his ultimate. They desperately want to go for a fight. Cream looks like he's going to have the package and TP in. Gen.G, they need to fight before 369 can come back.
They're still so far ahead in a 5 versus 4. TS can still win. The arrow flies through into the pit. Chovy gets tagged out. Packages in. Cream lines it up. The dragon is stolen. Tien is sending us right into Hell's Incarnation. You see Gen.G with more members, but I see Cream burning them all alive. If there is a church of Chovy, then we better believe in the cult of Cream.
It's blasphemy here in Chengdu as top esports refuse to bend the knee. They get the soul. They're marching down the mid lane. They want to take us to that game number 5.
Even with the pick on 369, Gen.G, they needed a fight, but they're down so much gold, fighting into the Baron buff as well. And as a result, they get Jackie, but hasn't felt at any point in this game like getting Jackie is worth it.
And top esports on the door of creating history themselves. I'll let you know soon because it's only the inhibitor. The game is not over, but top esports, they have done this before on an international stage. Do you remember, Dag, that when everyone had confidence in Fnatic 2-0 up in 2020, top esports, different players, but hell, the same mojo, as much as would call it, that sets them up for plays like this.
This was beautiful. Chovy caught in the back of the pit, forced to flash out. The steal from TN. And even though you get Jackie love, he is only one part of the problem for top esports. With Cream able to come around, Mako on the support, Ash churning out the damage.
Oh.
Top esports can take down Gen.G.
Absolutely huge there. Malignance damage, insane. And you might want to cost your you might cost your mind back. In last year's Worlds, Gen.G was down 0-2 to BLG, and then somehow brought it to a game 5. You know what happened in game 5? They got eviscerated. Now they're up 2-0, finally looking to deliver on the domestic performance that this team has shown over all these years. And if they are unable to close it out in what I'm sure is going to be an imminent game number 5, it would be the reverse sweep in MSI main stage. Only in play-ins have we seen it before.
Arrow starts us off for a potential game 5. The poke is out onto Canyon, but the trigger ain't there. Tien gets knocked up for days, but the fear beyond death still follows through. Lehans gets out, if only by a hair's breadth, and now they have numbers. Now they have the base again.
Keys Cassante cannot withstand against top esports. Chovy's Azir cannot withstand against top esports. This team is unstoppable. This team feels undeniable. And as they walk through the base of Gen.G, they don't stop.
Dagda, he's giving them payback for all of Chovy's Thanksgiving. The base broken in another part, and Gen.G still hold the defense, but it's 26 minutes, and the game feels foregone.
And Gen.G in the past lived and died by Peanut and Doran. And these changes were supposed to take away some of the inconsistencies of that roster. But I think it's been Canyon in particular that's been struggling the most in the last 2 games. His Jarvan performance underwhelming, and here it felt like, again, that play on Jackie trying to hard force the kill on this Draven was what started the chain of events to put top esports towards a game number 5.
And it's the world champions on the opposite side that are putting in the work for top esports. Mako wanting to find success away from EDG, nearly a decade on that roster, and now on top esports, the real support Jackie Love deserves. The opportunity to play multiple styles that Mako has always dreamed of, now working with Tien, who has been impeccable over the last 2 games, finding the success that this bot lane for top esports needs.
I mean, Tien's change in this series, I think, is some of the biggest we have seen within a series itself. Like, Tien is that kind of player. He has really, really high highs, really, really low lows, and down Chovy will go. That's the pick to open up another aspect of this base. 1 inhibitor turret left standing, and TS have nowhere to go but down.
Next is about to fall here for Gen G. And for the third time in 4 days, third time in, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
3 days, we're gonna go to Silver Scrapes, gentlemen.
We now find out if TES can make history, if they can do the unthinkable. The hands will drop with ease. The poke is unbearable. The Hextech Soul is undeniable. Jackie Love is unbeatable. And Mako is just unbelievable. This TES roster looked like they were in a slump, looked unforgiving. But in the last 2 games, they shine, they rise, and they boil with the heat in Chengdu.
When everyone doubted them, top esports rose. It will be a day of firsts here in Chengdu. The first time Fnatic are beaten by a North American team. And it's a question of what the first will be here in our second series of the day. Will it be the first time the LPL falls to Gen G? Or will it be the first time we see a reverse sweep in the MSI main stage?
I don't care who wins Game 5. I'm just glad we got here again. Is this the best MSI in history? I'm going to start voting yes as we throw over to the analyst desk to break that one down before Silver Scrapes begins.
Thank you so much. What do you know about a reverse sweep from TES, possibly? I know everything about it. But just to be clear, I don't know if I heard that correctly, but it's in fact Gen G that hasn't won a best of series versus the LPL since 2017. 2,386 days ago, and they were about to after Game 2.
It did feel that way. I'll say that. It didn't seem very close in the first 2 games, because in the first 2 games, Jackie Mako couldn't get an advantage on Pays Lehens. Chovy was Chovying. He was going 30 CS up in every single game. And more importantly, it felt like the connectivity of Gen G was there, because every time they were pushing the proper waves and engaging on the right timings. And that has completely fallen by the wayside in the last 2 games. But it starts with Jackie Love Mako.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think, again, we've just talked about how hype this bot lane is. The Mako Ashe being something that was their one finals win when they did go up against BLG for the second time. He actually won player of the series because he just kept landing arrows onto On in that game. You saw that here with his Ashe in this game as well. And I think the big thing coming out of this is that even with the Gen G swap, which I did think they should do, thank you casters, I thought the big difference is that 2 things. 1, 369 came out of it as an actual champion on the Urgot. And then 2, Cream actually did end up having a lot more mid-pressure in this game with the Corki into the Azir. And that's actually so important, because that's the way that Gen G plays.
How many has he won, though?
3.
Okay, it's pretty good.
1 versus KT in 2018, Griffin 2019, and Gen G 2020. Those are formidable.
Those are pretty good ones.
Yeah.
Those
I mean,
are pretty good
is,
ones.
Your issue lies not with Jackie Love, it lies with the lack of international competition.
Which we're getting. I mean, to the caster's point, like, this is, if we're comparing all of MSIs, like, imagine what we used to have to go through to get a series. I didn't mean it like that. To get a series like this, because it would only be like, oh, maybe in the finals you get LCK versus LPL. You get that best of 5 once. This is the first one we've had this
Thanks,
MSI.
Riot.
It's an immediate banger. We're going to get another giant banger tomorrow, and then we're going to get like 7 of these bangers.
Yeah, and when it comes to the mid lane matchup, Chovy versus Cream, where we thought here definitely Chovy should have the edge. What's happening?
Yeah, and I mean, on the one side, right, you have Chovy, all these expectations are on him. You have Keen and Canyon coming in for Peanut and Doran, right?
Yeah.
Supposing that they're going to be the stronger team. And now TES coming back, taking them to a Game 5. There's so much pressure now on Gen G, I think, and on Chovy in particular. Meanwhile, on the other side, Cream, someone who, again, we were super excited for his debut. He did so well on OMG, kind of matriculated up to a better team on TES, and has really shown up in these last 2 games that TES have won. That mid pressure has been so important, not just because, again, it's nice to have, but I cannot stress enough how much Gen G relies on Chovy to pretty much have that constant pressure in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Are they not helping him? Is he not helping himself?
Well, it's weird, right? This series, Corky's here, Corky's here.
Yeah. Woohoo!
But in game 1 and 2, like, the other guys were the ones getting 4 kills in the bottom lane, and Pace started the game like 3-0, and then Chovy's pressure pushed them over the top. In this game, like, Canyon did kind of run it down with that first dive, and like, should Chovy, like, is there a way that Chovy helps out with that kill? Probably not.
No.
It's between,
Yeah.
because like, there's going to be this feeling for Chovy that he has to do more because Jackie Love's doing more, right? The star of the other
Shouldn't
team
it
is
be
doing it.
Pace?
How many times has Chovy gone internationally? And like, the things that make Chovy great, like the things he does better than everybody else, is like slow, reliable mid pressure and the translation of that pressure through the rest of the map.
Yeah.
And if things are on fire, like, he's not going to fix a fire. He's going to put out like a little bit of smoke, but with the way things are going, it's to me, the other players need to step up so Chovy can show his brilliance.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I think the way that TES is really showcased in something like this, where, again, this is kind of a wonky composition to bring out, but I think that they know how to play something like this, or like they know how they want to play something like this, right? And once they got ahead, I really, really appreciated how Mako was using the Ashe both for vision and then for picks, with Jackie Love following up on the Draven, and also Tien, right? Tien,
He's been playing great.
Yeah. Today he's been
inconsistent
amazing.
player.
Yeah.
He's actually opened up about his own like mental health struggles publicly, right? Especially in that FPX roster that kind of bombed out of Worlds before. From finals, Worlds Finals MVP to that, now on this TES team has still been kind of inconsistent. In these last 2 games, I thought he's been really good in a lot of their skirmishing and team fights on the Maokai and then now on the Sejuani.
Some final notes before I ask you guys who you think is going to win Game 5. I got waved down by a fan.
Yeah.
She was like, come down, a fan here in Chengdu, a Chinese fan, I suppose. And she was like, do you remember what it started with? And I was like...
Interestingly enough, your monologue received much differently in China
Yes.
than over in
So
Europe.
I should actually see it different. Everyone's really happy here. And with that, who are you going to call it for in Game 5? It is Gen G who has selected the blue side.
We didn't get to show our predictions beforehand, but we did make them beforehand.
Yes.
And I was Gen G 3-2. I was expecting this series to be incredibly close. Based on the momentum, I absolutely should swap, but I'm not going to. Because I just don't think, if they're not as eager to shut down Jackie Love, then they can let Chovy and the rest of the things that let them win Game 1 and 2, win Game 5.
Yeah. I, at the beginning of the day, also said Gen G 3-2. As people know, I never flip on my predictions, so I'll stick with Gen G. I think them on blue side, they should be able to slow the game down enough, hopefully find something that really, really pressures mid heavily for Chovy. But I think the first, and this goes across for every single game we've seen, the first 10, 15 minutes is so crucial, right? Because if TES is allowed to play their game, allowed to create these small skirmishes and set up, then I think they will just snowball to victory.
And I will say really quickly, though, this, to me, is super meaningful for Chovy's next arc. Like, if he gets reverse swept here, even though he'll still have a lower bracket run, like, I think it's really important that he shows and Gen G shows they can stand up to this type of international pressure and win one of the final 3 games in the series, because that's what they have to do.
I think that's an excellent note to send us into break. We get Silver Scrapes for the 3rd time in 3 days. That's
awesome.
Crazy. Let's go and let's get into Game 5 after we've danced it out. We'll see you right back here.